We did it again. Verizon was just named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics for the 16th time in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon builds networks. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network, Verizon. Best and most reliable based on Root Metrics reports from second half 2013 to first half 2021 of 3 operators on all network types combined, not specific to 5G networks.
I want to go ahead. Now, I didn't prep this because I totally forgot. I apologize, Martin. Because you're going to have to do, you're going to talk about 2 films right now.
You just play the trailer for either?
Yes, I'll happily play a trailer. That's exactly what I'm going to do. It's what you deserve. In the meantime, let's take a quick break because we've been doing a lot of talking. Good, nice pace too. Just under 2 hours tonight.
Right on.
Probably go like, probably about 2.5 will be good. So what is the name of the first movie you want to talk about?
The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Eyes of Tammy Faye. So Martin was the one who saw this movie. I have not seen it yet, so I'm going to leave it up to Martin to discuss this. Oh, no, I have seen a trailer for this. Okay. Here we go. Let's get this straight off YouTube. Oh, okay, perfect. All right. Oh. There we go. All right, chat. So we have The Eyes of Tammy Faye, where Martin is going to give us his review on. But before we do that, let's go ahead and watch the trailer and come back and see what Martin thinks of it.
Tammy Faye, what'd you do?
Hello, Mother. This is Jim Baker, my husband. It's all part of our mission to help people. Anyone who's hurting or they feel like they've been left out, God has a plan for us.
What'd he tell you to do this time?
Jesus keeps a taking me higher and higher. Jim will preach, and I'll sing. Higher and higher.
God does not want us to be poor.
Wonderful, a pleasure.
Now God has a voice in this fight.
Who's he fighting?
Liberal agenda, homosexual agenda.
Faith isn't political.
You can't talk to him like that. Jerry Falwell's a powerful man, Tammy Faye.
She's a firecracker, Jim.
If everyone watching could double their pledge just for 1 month, God loves you. He really does.
We're not doing anything wrong, though.
Is that a question? Tammy and I are undergoing the most vicious attacks.
Serving God don't feel like it should be a money-making opportunity.
You know, when I saw that clipping with my face on it, I thought for a second that you were proud of me.
Oh, Tammy Faye, you follow blindly. In the end, all you are is blind.
I just want to love people.
The devil's coming for me, Tammy.
Can we talk about Satan later, Jim?
Steve is a patient of AIDS.
I can't look at this. You need to get her under control.
I built you an empire.
Built you an empire.
Some people, they're just hurting so bad, and we just need to love them. I want to put my arm around you.
And I want to put my arms around you, Tammy Faye.
I won't go forward looking in the rear-view mirror of my life. This is who I am.
There you go. The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Martin, what can you... oh, hey, I'm done playing you. God dang it. Martin.
So are you familiar with Jim and Tammy Faye Baker?
No, I'm not.
See, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because I'm like, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, this movie about Tammy Faye.
you have no idea.
No, please go into it.
This is the generational thing. So I've lived long enough to where now all they're doing, everybody's making biopics and miniseries about big political scandals that happened when I was your age. Mm-hmm. And this was one of them. Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, televangelist with the PTL network, praise the Lord. They had this show was on every night, long as variety show. Ask for donations, preach,
Mm-hmm.
puppet shows, singing, all this.
Yeah.
They were basically like living cartoon characters.
Okay.
Because she was known for her thick Minnesota accent, her
right.
ultra chipper, loud voice, mostly for all the tons of eye makeup she'd have on.
Which they showcase in the trailer.
Yes, but
movie,
even like looking at her here, I'm like, you're not quite getting it.
Wow.
It was a lot more than that.
Okay.
And in the end, Jim Baker went to prison,
right?
Because of embezzling funds and trying to fund all that.
Typical.
Yes, and only to have Jerry Falwell come in, kind of bamboozled him to say, okay, look, we can't have you associated with this. You're going to step out of the limelight. I'll take over for a little while, and then you come back. Just let us know everything you did so we can cover it.
Okay.
And then once that happened, Jerry Falwell went on TV and went like, "Oh, Jim Baker is an unscrupulous human being, and this is all the stuff he's done, and we can never have him back here." So just pretty much stole it all from him.
Yeah,
but Baker went to jail, and he was
deservedly.
Deservedly so. And back in 2003, they did a documentary called "The Eyes of Tammy Faye," which really did you went more into her, and you did get to see how not only was she got you want to say she got duped into it, but she was, for as much of a cartoon character she was a genuine person who really cared a lot about gay people. Because there's a scene there where she's and that really did happen with her talking to somebody who had AIDS, and she remained a gay icon. She was always very friendly and everything. So that was cool. So here we are, 18 years later. They're making a biopic of it, and it's one of these things where I don't know how much you can tell from the trailer, but Jessica Chastain really throws herself into the role.
Right. I actually want, if you don't mind, I want to show just a picture of
Sure.
so people can see and just kind of comparison. So I guess this is the real life Tammy Faye, how she looks now or recently.
Well, she died.
She died.
She died from cancer.
Okay. And here's just because Chastain is like I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
And there's that eye makeup you were talking about.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Like the eyelashes that look like butterflies that could lift her into the air.
Gotcha.
That was her signature.
Okay. Yeah.
And Jessica Chastain throws herself into the role. Now she's still not as just bodacious as Tammy, and Jessica Chastain, despite all this, she's still kind of sexy. Like throughout the thing. Yeah. Like there's even this one guy who's really flirting with her, and you can kind of see it. But whenever I thought, if this is real Tammy Faye, this is not me.
No, okay.
It would not be happening. But that's about the highlight of it. Unfortunately, the other performances are hit and miss. Andrew Garfield's okay as Jim Baker.
Okay.
But you think about like me knowing what Jim Baker was like. There's so much more he could have done because Jim Baker was just about as much of a cartoon as she was, just in his own way.
He kind of looks like Mr. Rogers, from the I mean, the puppets and everything like that, and just his this look and his cadence, his talk.
Yeah. He's playing it almost more like a Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
where Jim Baker, every time he's on, you're like, oh, geez, this fucking guy is serious.
Gotcha.
And then Vincent D'Onofrio as Jerry Falwell, he's not really doing it at all, but it's almost like he showed up for a 2-day shoot and said, all right, I'll put on this wig, I'll do what you want. The problem with the movie is, the two problems, is that it's just very shallow. It's, for all that went on with that, it for the first half, it just breezes through. It's almost like it's just showing you quick cut scenes.
The greatest hits.
A greatest hits. And it's almost like, it's not even a greatest hits, it's almost a medley. Just in how quick it goes from this is where they met in college and did this and this to this to this to this to this. And I just sat there watching it, just kind of like, wow. I mean, her performance is good, and maybe people are gonna like this, but I think this kind of sucks.
Okay.
It's only in the later half of it that it kind of settles down and gets more into the end of what happened with them. But it's still shallow. A big thing about this movie, its heart is in the right place, but it is too focused on redeeming Tammy Faye, on making her such a good person, and so someone who didn't know what was going on, that it misses giving her real depth, or everybody else in it, and then before you know it, it's just kind of like, well, and then it's over. And it's like, I mean, I hate to always say like, oh, you should watch that documentary. But the documentary was so much better, and it didn't even go through all that stuff.
Right.
But it's one of those things where, like, say you were to come in, like, say you knew a little bit about them, and you were to watch this, and you go like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. But I, somebody who was alive at that time, when that was all over the news, I go like, there's so much they didn't cover.
Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it just feels very inauthentic, and it's too bad.
I feel like that's like for a lot of biopics.
I know.
Where you have 2 hours, maybe a little over, maybe 2.5, to tell someone's life story.
Yeah.
Everything they've done. Maybe not even everything they've done. Maybe to like a specific point in their life. And even then, that's just not enough time. I mean, there's so many. We can pick one out of the hat and be like, yep, this wasn't done well, this wasn't done well. And we had what recently, the Aretha Franklin biopic.
Oh, right.
Respect. Now, I didn't see it. I know that
I didn't see it
Corey,
either.
I think maybe Corey and Billy did. But I think that was Corey's, criticism of that movie. They didn't spend enough time on these things. It was just like, yeah, we just skipped this whole thing, and and this, or like in regards to when she was raped, like that was like, oh yeah, that happened, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like shit. That's a big thing. That's a traumatic thing in someone's life, and so to hear this, I mean, do you feel like biopics should be relegated to television because you can tell the story over a longer period of time? Would this have been better if it had been on like a mini series for like 8 episodes?
Like these things that FX keeps doing.
Yeah.
Which I end up not watching those because I was just like, I lived through that, and I was happy when it was over. Like the OJ one is the first one, and I know I've been told by everybody how brilliant it is, and I don't doubt that it is. But I remember when that was happening, and it just felt like it would never end.
I remember it being on. I remember that being on when it interrupted my cartoon time because my parents wanted to watch the OJ trial. So I was affected by OJ in many different ways.
Yeah, and now the new one is the Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Still fresh in the head. Don't need to go through it again.
Same. Yeah.
But another part of what's wrong with this is that it lacks context. It's all about, well, this is them, and it happens in their little microcosm, and it doesn't really give you a sense of how it affected the world or how everybody else was looking at it.
Okay.
It just seemed to miss so many important things, and I don't expect a biopic to cover everything, especially to start with them when they're meeting in college. But it's almost like the things that were important they didn't know what to do with, and their agenda of let's save Tammy Faye just completely got in the way.
Yeah. I think that's what happens with biopics is that when you follow a certain, I mean, that's movies in general, when you follow like a character for so long, even if they're a piece of shit, you do kind of like, well, we got to make them likable for the audience to a degree. Even if they're what they've done.
I mean, she already was. Like, people either liked her or they just thought she was silly and didn't take her seriously.
Right.
But it wasn't like, for the most part, people didn't hate her. And this didn't feel that like, well, here's her side of the story. It was just like, but she was a really good girl, though. It's all these people. And it's like, I'm sure it was, but it was too much effort in trying to canonize her.
Okay. All right. What would you give it?
Honestly, I would give it a rental.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Okay. Hey, well, chat. Like, I don't know too much about this topic, but if you guys want to check that out, please do so. But rent it. Or at least, or maybe rent the documentary, or check out the documentary.
Yeah. Watch the documentary for sure.
Yeah, if you want a more objective take on this story. So yeah, no, thank you, Martin. That was very good.
Jim will preach, and I'll sing.
God does not want us to be poor. Waterfall of pleasure.
Now God has a voice in this fight.
Who's he fighting?
Liberal agenda, homosexual agenda.
Faith isn't political.
We did it again. Verizon was just named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics for the 16th time in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon builds networks. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network, Verizon. Best and most reliable based on Root Metrics reports from second half 2013 to first half 2021 of 3 operators on all network types combined, not specific to 5G networks.
McCafe K-Cup pods are bringing 2 tempting tastes right to your coffee cup, only at Walmart. Classic French toast brings the best of breakfast to every sip, with the comforting flavors of sweet maple syrup, buttery toast, and a dash of cinnamon. Baked apple pie honors the classic cafe dessert with the taste of crisp apple, buttery pie crust, and sweet cinnamon flavors. Brew 'em up with the new Keurig K-Express Essentials Brewer. Whatever flavor you choose, you can't lose, so try them both. McCafe, available at Walmart.